There you go.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So all of these sessions will be recorded and placed on YouTube after the wave season sessions are over. So if you want to go back, you can go to our Facebook group right now. So today we are focusing on websites with Colleen Strimbu of Travel Industry Marketing Agency. So without further ado, I am going to let Colleen take it away and talk a little bit about 3 things that every agent needs on their website.
Yep.
And 2 bonuses.
A couple bonuses. I couldn't do 3, guys. I mean, I know you came in for 3, but I hope you're going to be patient with the fact that we got more than 3 because websites are complicated. And, I'm going to keep Sheila on the side, though, because she is the most informed person on websites almost I've ever met on the travel industry side. So a couple things I want to pull her back in on the story brand writing, which is kind of a fun addition. But I'm going to go and share my screen with you right now so you can see kind of the tips. We're going to keep this down and dirty today. I'm not doing a full presentation. I want to make sure we've got a good chat and a good communication going here. So as we're going through these, if you have any comments, questions on what we're talking about, drop it in the chat. We want to make sure this is going to be something that's going to be helpful for you today, and that you're going to pull something away from it that says, okay, I can go back to my website right now, and this is going to make a difference. So I'm going to kick this thing off. The first thing off about the first message on your page really needs to be about the person coming in and not about you. In the I'm going to say late 90s, early 2000s, it became kind of a thing where everybody was speaking about how they were going to connect with their audience, and that we all kind of became our own little personal influencers and travel bloggers along the way. And what happened over the course of time is that it became a lot more about the agent and less about their customer. And what we're seeing now with the travel agency side of this is that we're seeing it swing back to the customer, things we can do for them, your value proposition. And I think you guys have probably all seen it on social media. These are all the reasons why travel agents are valuable to you. They help you when you're away from, you're on a trip in destination and something goes wrong. They know how to do complicated travels, all of those kind of things. Make that first message right when they come on in be about them, about how you're going to make their trip a much better experience, and you're going to customize it to their needs. So that's a big step 1. Step 2 is a story brand writing. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. Story brand writing is a really engaging way for you to connect with your customers and connect with them on their buying journey, what they're thinking along the process, going from the beginning of early stage thought of what do I want to do to get to the end. I know that Sheila had mentioned in one of our previous discussions that there are agencies out there who are contacting people who will actually copyright and write story brand writing for them for their actual websites, as well as for their blogs, as a way to connect people, obviously build SEO, things of that nature. If anybody on the chat has done story brand writing, I would love to see your website, drop it in there. It'd be a great thing for us to check it out along the way as a resource. And I'm going to move on. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat on that one. But boy, this is the biggest one that I have seen kind of go wrong is not selling something on a web page. And it kind of goes back to my original point about the fact that we go out there, we're trying to make a connection with them and say that we can do anything. But I tell people all the time that, if you're talking to a real estate agent, they're like, hey, I can help you with anything. But if they lead with a house that you actually might be interested in, it makes that sale process go a little bit more quick, because you're seeing something you either really like, it gives you an idea of where you're headed, what things to look at, that kind of thing. So we see a bunch of travel agents who do a lot of promotion on social media, a lot of promotion in their newsletters. They drive their customers back to their website, and then there's nothing to buy. I liken it to the fact that if you're on Facebook and you see a store and you purchase like a Nordstrom with a sweater, and you click on that Nordstrom sweater to go to their page, and all of a sudden you're dropped into a home page and there's nothing there. There's nothing there to buy. You literally have 2 to 3 seconds of time before they're gone. So if you don't lead them through that process of the digital process of going from the beginning inspiration all the way to the information stage on your page, you're going to be missing people and have a lot of drops on that page and a lot of bounces. So please sell something. It doesn't have to be aggressive. It could be just an idea. And that means instead of just saying, hey, here's an offer for Sandals Resorts, it can be, I don't know if you're interested in going on a trip to Africa. Here's a couple great places to go. those are selling enough. Those are tools enough to get on board with that. Website policies. Are we on with Travel Industry Solutions or what, right? Making sure you've got everything you need on your website to cover your business, your privacy policies, anything that are terms and conditions about purchases, if you have purchases on your page. Those are so infrastructural. To me, it's like one of those things 20 years ago about Arizona emissions insurance. It was just a thing you just had. And website policies, we really notice all the time when we're doing agency builds, they're just gone. People don't have them, don't know they should have them, or don't know the resources. If you do have privacy policies, definitely get them checked out, or obviously, Sheila's the industry leader in this, in my not to be humble opinion. After 30 years, we've seen a lot of really crazy stuff out there, but this one's the best resource that we've seen so far, and it's such an easy plug-in. So lastly, and Sheila, I'm going to bop back to you here in just a minute here to see a couple conversation points about, I want to pull back in that story brand writing, but the contact points in your website. What we're seeing a lot when people come in on their pages is that your phone number is really, really small in the bottom part of the website. There's no buttons, there's no links, there's no contact forms. It's just piles and piles of information. People don't read very well anymore. I think it's because our attention spans are shortening because of videos and GIFs and everything else. Making sure you have multiple points of contact within the text itself. You like what you see, click here for more information. A phone number at the top, as well as in the middle, and again at the bottom. Buttons, along with contact forms, as well as things like lead magnets. Those things are so super, it's so infrastructural to make sure it's easy for a client to find you, excuse me. Sheila, you and I were talking about lead magnets the other day. I know you've talked to a ton of agents on how important it is to have those contact pieces go into that. Do you think it's always, or have you heard from the agents that it's always important to have a lead magnet on the side, or can it just be the contact form based on what you've heard?
I think lead magnet gives somebody something tangible. I always feel like they're getting something in exchange for their name, and they find value. And I believe you were going to give away a couple of lead magnets to the group. That's your freebie offer. I do believe in it. I think it encourages people to sign up, and of course, you can bring them into your lead nurturing process. Again, it also goes along the lines of the story branding model, which is shifting the attention to your client. So many times on social media, particularly lately, I've seen some travel advisors ask for opinions about their newly formed website. And while the website may be beautiful, they always lead with I this, I that. Let me tell you all about me. But you really need to make your audience the hero. You're not the hero, of your own story. You need to really identify what their key problem is and connect them to it. And so that lead magnet goes along with shifting your attention to the client and make it a value. I am really tired of lead magnets out there that don't provide some real insight and value. Or at least one or two takeaways. In life, I don't know about you, Colleen, but I've lived my life this way. I always share this with my daughter. I think in everything that you do in life, there are three takeaways. Whether the situation or the experience you've had is horrible or it's good, there are always three key takeaways that you can learn from any situation and apply it or change it or move forward with it. And so I try to apply that to some of the materials that we put out, or I speak to our partners about that. There are always three takeaways that you can give anybody. So I know I'm kind of like going off on a tangent, but I do believe the story brand piece is really important because I've seen so much of it lately. You want to make it logical and lead them down a pathway without being so verbose. And you want to give them a plan to move forward. There are some great sites out there that I've seen from advisors on, leading their prospect or their customer down a path. Step 1, step 2, step 3. And think of it no differently than your client onboarding, right? You have a pathway with your client onboarding or your discovery calls. Your website shouldn't be any different than that. You shouldn't be thinking of it differently.
Correct, correct. And keeping in mind, and everything you're talking about, I think there's three elements that are just critical to including, or obviously more. There's it's hard to just make these all less or more important in my head, but to me, you have a digital sales funnel that happens all the time. And once you get them into your website, that's the place where you're actually getting the information for the close. So making sure that your messaging is on point, making sure it's not too long. I mean, I think there's a bunch of critical elements to have on your website. There's a lot of things not to have. Don't have too many words. Don't make it super hard to find information. Make sure that you're driving them to somewhere, not just giving them general information. I think about 10 years ago, there's been a lot of people who've been plugged into all these ancillary channels that give destination information across the entire world within their website. And what that tends to do on a behavioral level is it leads people to a place where, pardon me, they get just limited information, and then they're off searching for travel information somewhere else instead of calling. The goal should be to route them in and make that sales funnel smaller, not wider. And those communication points, making it easy to connect, making sure that they can see exactly how the process will go, why they need to call you, and to get them to pick up the phone, shoot you a text. That's a big one these days. Text messaging, making it available to text with people, has opened doors to communication bigger than anything else. Chats on your website are also huge, just because of the text message thing. So
I absolutely agree with you. And there are stats around placement of your contact buttons or your contact information. There are some hard statistics around that. Now, you may not be in that bucket where you don't want people calling you repeatedly or calling you repeatedly, but maybe an email is okay. So at least put that throughout your site. I recommend phone calls. It really depends on the type of agency structure or model that you have. But the bottom line is at least have one of those points of contact listed throughout your site so that it is easy to find, or a scheduling button. Schedule a meeting with me. I know a lot of people have moved to scheduling, calendar scheduling. So that's a great contact point that you can also put throughout, not just one place.
No, and you want to use different words for it too, like learn more, contact me, get more information. All of those things will trigger something that says, oh, I do want more information. I'm ready to contact somebody. And if you say it differently, but it still leads to the same place, totally fine. Totally fine to do that. But it's a trigger on where they're at in that review cycle to get them closer to you and to make that contact, which is really important, for sure.
So Colleen, let me ask you a question. Because I know you guys actually have readily available website templates that can be modified very quickly and easily, and you have different levels of service. So when you're first starting out versus when you are more seasoned, is there a recommendation of one style or length of a website over another? Or do you still adhere to your principle of keep it simple, stupid, and include key elements, and that's it?
Yep. I mean, to me, it's becoming less is more. It used to be we wanted to all compete with Expedia and have all the resources on our pages and plug every detail in there and then throw a booking engine in there just in case and hope they don't get sidetracked and go look somewhere else. I mean, all of those elements to me are now distraction elements. I'm down to keep it simple. I mean, 5 or 6 pages of key information, current offers, answering questions, bullet points. A video. Did you know that a video holds people on your, just at the top, instead of an image, holds them on your page? Even a GIF file, 70% longer. Attention spans are so short, the less is more is really where you're headed. They need to come in, get the information that they're looking for, easily find a way to talk to you, and then they progress on in contact. So a lot of our websites, I mean, we baseline 5 pages, 5 or 6 is about it. Larger agencies do require more because they They require, more about us information and the agent information. Some have consortia requirements that you have to play along with, obviously. But boy, on the transaction, the digital purchase line is very, very simple. The other thing, Sheila, it's a good point about this, is that you never want to route people into your homepage from a link. A fun thing is that Expedia, as an example, it's like 75% of all of their traffic comes from external links, the extension links on the page. Drive them directly into where you want to convert them, those sales pages, those offer pages, all of that. Share the links directly to the transaction opportunity, not into your homepage. If you make it hard to find something to buy or the information they're looking for, you're going to lose them more times than not. So that's also really important. Yes. So back to your original point, keep it simple. Think about how you transact, how long you're willing to spend on a website when you buy something. If people would come into their own website, not in the frame of mind of, I built this, it's my baby, these are all the things I want to share, but come in from a neutral place of, if I came to look at something and I wanted to find information, if I wanted to do research or I wanted to purchase, how easy would it be for me to find what I'm looking for, and take that kind of visual tact on your website. It's really helpful. It's really informative from an introspective basis to see how that transaction plays out personally.
So
have you done that on your? I think your website's great, Sheila. I think you do a great job at that, actually.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, it's been a work in progress for sure, especially with the TIS content. There's so much we have to explain, really, the breadth of the product. So it's been a learning process over the last couple of years because there's a lot of pieces and parts to it. But I want to go back to some of the technical skill about, and you know what, if you want, Colleen, you can go ahead and stop your share. That way, when we have people interject, they can show their beautiful faces. Oh, there's Danielle. Hi, Danielle. See, I saw you on the screen now. So one of the things is technical skill. Many of us don't have the technical skill to go in and change out offers, but I want to say that there are resources. There are people out there that can swap out your offers, and show you how you can easily change out those offers from month to month. So if you guys are using the Platinum Plus product, I believe as part of it, you may include some offers in some of those newsletters. Don't reinvent the wheel. Or if you're with whatever consortia you're with, they're sending out offers. So each month, if you focus on all inclusives, choose one of those offers. Create a pop-up on your site. Wix, WordPress, they all have built-in
landing pages,
pop-up makers,
Yep, landing pages and pop-up.
Someone you found on Fiverr, and they'll add it for you and switch them out. Or maybe the offer that month is a lead magnet or a free piece of advice, or maybe you do want to have some sort of a giveaway that month, for the first 10 people that sign up for a specific type of travel or trip or whatever. I love that Danielle said that she has, and I was going to go back to the whole video thing. You have a short video at the top of your website that takes 3 or 4 seconds.
Perfect.
To load. Is that a real deterrent?
No. And everybody's internet connections, their browsers and all of that, their phone connections are all a little different. I wouldn't be super concerned about that. I haven't seen that be an issue to date, to be honest. Do you know why, Danielle, why it's taking so long to load?
No, I don't. I've tried many different things, but again, it could be my connection. I'm down here in Mexico, so
Your life's horrible. Absolutely horrible.
My score is a B on like GT metrics.
Okay, great.
So I'm just, but it still makes me nervous, even from somebody down here, the connection. And I just try and keep up with all the technology. I mean, that's what I did in my previous life. Right. But I just think it's a deterrent sometimes. So Yeah, hearing that reinforcement from
Oh
you.
boy,
Good.
I just don't see it. Because it changes so much based on, like I said, what browser they're coming in on, where their internet connection is based. I mean, Mexico is always
Yeah.
everything's a little slower there. So for sure, I wouldn't worry about it. What really matters, and this is the same thing in newsletters as well, not to go totally off topic, but the top of your newsletters, again, it increases engagement and shares on that as well. Even if it takes a second, it's a GIF file. I know you can't share a video like in MailChimp and all that, but just a GIF. We all are attention span short. So movement on a page isn't meant to convert. So your message isn't as important as having something to hold your eyeballs. It's just how, how we are now trained to purchase and review content. So in some of our newsletters or even on our websites that we build, we put a GIF at the top and then another one in the middle because it increases the amount of time they spend on the page and they'll scroll longer.
Okay, in the middle. Okay.
Yeah.
That's something to,
Anywhere you could put motion, it's a thing. And fun fact, if you put an emoji in your subject line in any email, it increases open rates. I
now
can't,
that's true.
but that's also real. So it's information about how people are transacting online. So definitely be adding those in there if you can, if you know how to do it.
Yep.
Circling back to also what Sheila was saying, landing pages. Those are the temporary things where you can create a single page. I think even Travefy creates landing pages. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's
They
correct.
do. Yeah. They allow you to do that. So if you're not technically adept, which many people are not, if you're routing something through an offer or leading through a transaction back to those pages, lead them to that landing page that then focuses on bringing them to your website. And that way you can have a time frame, have it expire. It really works out great. So if you don't know how to do updates on your website, landing pages are a great way to have a temporary thing as an incentive. Like Sheila was saying, first 10 people give us your contact information, $200 gift card or whatever you're going to do. They work out really, really well, and they increase engagement and really boost that sales funnel in your website.
Well, and the other thing too that a lot of people may not be aware of is if you're using a CRM that is like an Entreport or a HubSpot or something similar, there are pre-built landing page templates that will tie into your website. You can create pop-ups. They're like, dummy proof almost. And so once you get your site set up, and you have the format of the site working well for you, then you can use some of those additional tools. I think even like MailChimp might have them now, etc. So you can create them and it'll connect directly to your website to keep your content fresh, which reminds me, Danielle also wanted to know if the pop-ups should be on the homepage or other pages.
Well, again, I would say transact the way that you go into your website and see if that would bug you to have it on multiple pages. Because if you come into any other website and a pop-up keeps coming up, how long do you stay on that page? In my opinion, you got one shot at a pop-up before you're going to make someone mad. So, I think about consumer approach here, not what would be ideal on the transaction side. There's somewhere in the middle. So I wouldn't do more than one. I would possibly do another embedded option or another contact piece or another something with movement flashing. But the pop-up thing, I know some people we've had come in and they've won awards, Condé Nast Travel Agent of the Year, whatever. And that popped up for more than 30 days. And their website traffic dropped on the front because it just kept coming up. So just be really cautious on pop-ups. They tend to be more irritating than appealing to people at this point. I think they were overused for a lot of years, to be totally honest.
I think they were too. They've got to be used strategically. It's just if you want some ease of use and you use it properly, then test it out. Yep. See, compare it to other options, landing pages, videos.
Another thing, Danielle,
embedded content.
I'm sorry, I guess kind of brain.
Go ahead.
I didn't mean to jump over you, Sheila. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Danielle, the other thing is sometimes people are not putting pop-ups when people first come in. They have the pop-up come up mid-page, a little bit further down. What that means is someone is actually interested enough to stay on the page. Now they might be interested in learning more, having more details, all of that. So the pop-ups a little further down on the page can help. If you're going to try it, I don't know that I would add it to more than one, but that might be a good starting point for you. At least it shows engagement before they're coming in.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. So, by the way, Danielle, John just went to your website and it loaded faster than he could watch it load. So he's good in Wyoming, just as an FYI.
I love it. If somebody wants to see, and I'll share this, one of the things that we're giving away to everybody who is attending today is our lead magnets. And we've got different ones, like if you're cruise, luxury, family, you can pick which one works best for you and your business. I can also send along, I'm going to send you links to those, but also I'm going to send you a couple pages of websites that we think are doing pretty well that we've tracked on our side that you might want to look at, just as a frame of reference. They might give everybody some ideas, and that'll help out.
One of the things too that I like about working with you guys on websites is the data that you have behind those websites and the tracking and the performance. So that's a key piece. So if you have somebody who's actually tracking that performance for you and paying attention to modifications that need to happen, you know, it's a valuable add-on, really.
Yeah, and you and I have kind of had interesting discussions about SEO, and I think it's probably something to mention because it comes up every time on the website discussion is where does SEO sit? And from my perspective, I've been in the travel industry specifically for 30 years, and I've seen when SEO started, what happened, and then when Expedia and all the OTAs came in and they kind of destroyed the universe on search, right? They paid for every travel search term on the planet to get all of the traffic into them. So what we see when you do SEO is that foundationally, the older your agency, the better. The more niche marketing you're doing, the better, because it's the only way to narrow in that gap. And also regional is unbelievably valuable to independent agents and small agencies in communities. Being the one who's the loudest within a zip code region. And there's a bunch of cool ways that you can advertise and do SEO in those regions. I see those as the three kind of easiest ways to do SEO. I know, Sheila, you and I have had some discussion about this, and tell me about the story, what you think about the story branding side on the SEO, because I think it's a good addition.
Well, I think it is a great addition. And I think that when you have somebody write your copy for the story branding, you need to make sure that SEO copywriting is a little bit different. Okay, so you're triggering specific keywords, paragraphs, images, number of times you're targeting it. I've become incredibly well versed with SEO. Some people have asked me why I repeat myself sometimes in our blogs, and it is specifically related to SEO targeting. There's a science behind it. So when you do story brand writing, you need to look at it a little bit differently, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, Colleen, is having somebody who is really skilled in adding the SEO to the back end that you do not see along with the story brand writing is going to help you more. And then you can continue to build upon that with your blogs. I'm actually testing out a couple of subscription type SEO products for the travel industry right now that are a little bit more affordable on an ongoing basis. But I would recommend, if you really want to concentrate on SEO, that you first invest in somebody who is really kind of doing that customized SEO build for you. And then having a maintenance component to it. So
it's not a one and done. I mean, SEO to me is like another form of marketing. Like when you're talking about marketing your agency, there's multiple ways to do lead generation and to drive traffic. There's multiple ways, and SEO is one of the many that's out there. And it can't, if you pay attention, I mean, like Sheila, to your point, when you get somebody who does this and maintains it and modifies it and all that, it can be very useful. And depending on the other elements, like to me, I'm top downing this a little bit more, saying these are the easiest ways to do SEO by virtue of location, all that. When you invest in it as a marketing strategy, there are ways to do it where people are very good at that and can help you increase, your page ranking all the time. But it's an ongoing thing. It's a moving target. It's a lot like a website to me. People don't update their website regularly. I think that's also not great. Seasonally, I would update a website because you're selling different things based on what people are purchasing. It's that kind of thing. And SEO is a living, breathing marketing tool. It's not something you just do and then it's done. you gotta stay on top of it, or it's not as effective.
And I equate SEO to going to a specialist, a specialized doctor. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, it's not your general practitioner. So I know this isn't even part of the conversation of your top
website.
but you're always you always have so much great data and useful information for our group. There was one thing that you said to me in the social media training that you did earlier this year, which had to do with choosing audiences. And I know this is off topic, but it was so impactful to me. When people are doing social media advertising and you were talking about choosing audiences, think a little bit more about behaviors of your audience. And in the luxury space and premium space, a lot of those individuals listen to podcasts.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You mentioned that.
Right. Targeting, and if we could go off topic a little bit, when you're doing targeting, and it's how you're speaking to people, even in the language on your website or your communications in social, or how you target people, the behavioral targeting, it's how people communicate with us. And I'm one of the people who's pro knowing everything about me. I am a much better purchaser. I am a target demographic for a lot of people, and I see things I would have never seen otherwise. So I'm in favor of it. And in the travel space, we do the same thing where we're pushing travel lead generation. We get to the right person because of their behaviors and their targeting and all of that. So what Sheila's mentioning is, we didn't just say we're looking for people who like to travel. Who doesn't like to travel? We know that people who listen to podcasts earn $150,000 on average. And that's just the demographic of a podcast listener. Those are our demographic for purchasing. So when we do targeting, we don't just look for people who want to travel. We look for people who have the money to travel, who have the interest in travel, and who have luxury taste in different items. This was a fun one just on the side. We started targeting cars, and all of a sudden we started getting 26-year-old boys. So we removed those from the equation. They're a terrible target demographic.
Right. Well, it's interesting.
It's a tricky thing, but it works.
So this is, I'm gonna wrap this up here, but you made mention of use of language. And so tomorrow we actually have Angela Hughes on talking about 3 things you need to know about luxury. And one of the things I had mentioned to Angela a couple of months ago was that I want to do a premium member content on luxury linguistics and what the impact luxury linguistics has on your business, how you communicate with the premium to luxury market, verbally, on your website, throughout all of your communications, and providing simple checklists. And what I mean by luxury linguistics is, instead of saying no problem, it's my pleasure. So there are little nuances, little things that you can change, and those are things that you can easily change on your website as well, whether you're in the premium to luxury space or another space. Thinking about the terms and just a slight modification to that phrasing will absolutely make a difference. So I hope that makes sense to everybody.
It makes such a big difference, and you should apply that in your newsletters and in your social media, all of it, because it totally is effective, and there's transactional proof of it. How you talk to people that way across the board, it makes all the difference, 100%.
Let me just look over here on the Facebook page, because I am getting a lot, getting likes, but I want to make sure there aren't any comments. I think we're good there. Any comments for those of you who are on the Zoom call? Any comments or questions before we wrap this up? I wanted to summarize a couple of things, if you don't mind, Colleen, and you can add.
No, you're good. You're good. Thank you. I think I overspent my time anyway. So thanks, Sheila.
So make your message about them, not you. Take a look at story brand writing. There's a great book out there called Story Brand. It's a fabulous book. It actually will help walk you through this if you want to attempt to do this on your own. But there are story brand writers in the marketplace. Sell something. That's really key. I know that Colleen, you have a proprietary database marketing program, and you have seen a significant difference in engagement between newsletters that go out without selling something and those that do, and the same premise applies.
30 to 60% engagement when we include an offer.
When you include an offer.
When we include an
60%.
offer, we take them through the best ways to go, and here's something to do. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Website policies. And for those of you who sometimes brush over the emails that you get from TIS, we pushed out the new website policies on Friday. And there is a new policy along with the terms of use, the California privacy policy, the standard privacy policy. There is now an affiliate and advertising disclosure policy for you. So go ahead and log into your account portal and grab those, please. And then the, I think really a key critical piece, if there's anything that you do differently on your website, is how they contact you. Outside of the website policies, how do they contact you? Putting it at multiple places.
Yep, absolutely.
And how can people reach you before we wrap this up?
Oh, sure. You can reach me at Colleen, my first name, Kulin, at tima.travel, TIMA.travel. Happy to answer questions. Again, if Sheila will share this, I'm going to be sending you links to some fun lead magnets for you to download. Help yourself to those, and I'll send you some websites that we think are working really well based on the data points and everything, just for you to check out for your reference too. Go ahead.
Okay, so do you want to include the links here? Do you want to send it to me, and then I'll put it with the video in the Facebook group?
I was
How do
going
you
to send
want
them
to
to
do
you.
that?
Yeah, I'll send them to you if that's okay, because they're download links. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you'll send me the links. I will put them in the Facebook group along with the video so that you can access those downloads. Thank you so much to everybody for being here today. We have Angela Hughes tomorrow, and then we have Jennifer from Wanderlust on Wednesday. And I know I made a mistake on Friday. Thursday is Reposit. So Thursday is not tied to wave season, but if you want to learn how you can find thousands of other suppliers outside of your preferred supplier list, join us on Thursday to get to learn a little bit more about Reposit. So thank you so much. Yes, Lori, everything is recorded. The Reposit webinar is through the Easy Webinar platform that we use. It is not the same link. It is a different link. We sent out an email. Let me just pop that into the chat real quick. If you register, what will happen is you will automatically get the replay for that. So that is not part of our wave season deal. Let's see. I don't know why.
I'm dropping my contact information in the chat too, Sheila, just so we have it. I have a strange name, so it's only fair.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to put the Easy Webinar link inside of the Facebook group. So yes, Lori, you registered, but you have a conflict. Yes, you'll get the replay. Okay, fantastic. Listen, thanks so much for being here today, Colleen. Thank you everybody for joining us, and we will see you tomorroall. Thank you.
Thanks,
have a great day.
Take care.
Bye-bye.